All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about a method that promises a massive, and I mean massive, jump in your chess rating. We're going to break down how some players have gained hundreds of points in just 1 month. And no, it's not magic. It's all about building a few powerful, disciplined habits. Does this sound familiar? You feel like you're stuck in mud. You play and play, but your rating just doesn't move. And worse, you keep losing games because of the same old mistakes. You know you're better than that, but it just feels like you've hit a wall.
So, let's talk about this number, 300 points in 30 days. Yeah, you heard that right. It is absolutely possible. And you know the best part? You don't need to hire some expensive coach or quit your job to do it. The entire secret is just building 5 specific, really powerful habits.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start with the promise itself. Then we'll dive into the core habits, playing slow and analyzing deep. After that, we'll get into mastering tactics. Then, how to build your own knowledge library. And finally, we'll wrap it all up and show you what that 30-day transformation actually looks like. Okay, let's jump right in. Section 1. Play slow, analyze deep. This is all about laying the foundation for your growth with 2 habits that are super simple, but, most players just flat out ignore. So, habit number 1, play 1 slow game a day. We all have this idea that playing more makes us better, right? But rocketing through 20 blitz games in an hour doesn't actually build skill. It just trains your brain to make the same blunders, but faster. And that's the core difference right there. A blitz player is basically just training reflexes. But in a slow game, we're talking 15 minutes or more, you actually have time to think, to understand, to spot your weaknesses. It forces you to ask yourself a really important question. Do you want to be a fast player, or do you want to be a strong player? And look, this isn't just some theory. This is a real story. One student jumped from 1250 to 1600. That's 350 points in a single month with just this one change. But the key wasn't just playing slow games. It was actually thinking about what happened afterward. And that brings us perfectly to habit number 2. You've got to analyze your games like a detective on a case. I mean, we've all done it, right? You finish a game, you turn on the engine, you see a sea of red blunders, and you just shut it down in frustration. That is a huge mistake. The engine isn't there to yell at you. It's there to give you clues. So here's the method. After the game, you've got to review it yourself first. No engine. Jot down what you were thinking at those key moments. Then, after you've done your own work, you turn on the computer. See, the goal isn't just to memorize the correct move. The real goal is to fix the thinking that led you to the bad move in the first place. That is the secret. All right, on to section 2 and habit number 3. This is about mastering tactics. This is the absolute heart of the game. I mean, you can know all the opening theory in the world, but if you miss one little 2-move tactic, game over. And the habit couldn't be simpler. 30 minutes of tactical puzzles every single day. But here's the kicker. You have to give it your full, undivided attention. You got to treat every puzzle like it's the most critical position of your life. It's not about how many you can solve, it's about how accurately you can solve them. And you really need to tailor your training. If you just jump into puzzles that are way too hard, you're just going to get discouraged. You have to start where you are. If you're under 1,000, just drill the heck out of those maiden 1s and maiden 2s. If you're in that 1,000 to 1,800 range, that's when you start combining themes and looking a few moves deeper. This way, you're always building on solid ground. And you should really focus your training on these key themes. This is the bread and butter of chess. You need to burn these patterns, double attacks, pins, deflections, into your brain until you spot them in your sleep. These are the building blocks for practically every win you'll ever have. And if you're still skeptical about the raw power of tactics, listen to this. A 13-year-old kid jumped 350 points in 25 days doing nothing but tactical training. He didn't study a single opening, didn't matter. His tactical vision became so brutal that he just overwhelmed everyone he played. Okay, our third section. This is where we shift gears from just raw calculation to building genuine chess intuition. And the next 2 habits are all about creating your own personal, permanent library of chess knowledge. So, you want to know a secret? Grandmasters don't actually calculate everything. A lot of the time, they're just recognizing thousands of patterns instantly. It's like driving a car, you just kind of know what to do. It's the same in chess. Once you've truly internalized a pattern, you don't have to find it, you just see it.
So how do you build this amazing library? It's actually really simple. Just find one new pattern every day. That's it, just one. Maybe it's a cool checkmate you saw or a pawn structure you didn't understand. Just screenshot it, save it, and make a mental note to look for it. You're building your library, one little piece at a time. And that brings us to our fifth and final habit. Now, this one might be the most underrated of them all, but it is so powerful. You need to keep a chess journal. Think of it as your own personal coach, one that's tracking your progress, pointing out your mistakes, and celebrating your wins. And look how simple it can be. This isn't some novel you have to write, just a simple text file. Jot down the game, the main takeaway, the big mistake, and maybe one thing you want to work on tomorrow. That simple act of writing it down is what makes the lessons stick. Okay, so let's put it all together. What actually happens when you commit to these 5 habits for 30 days straight? Well, this is where the real transformation begins. Think about it. These 5 habits are basically a direct cure for all the most common mistakes that hold us back. Playing on impulse, completely ignoring what our opponent is trying to do, trading pieces for no good reason. With a structured plan like this, those errors just start to melt away.
And here's what you can expect to see. After a month of this kind of focused work, your calculation is sharper. You make way fewer of those "what was I thinking" blunders. Your confidence at the board skyrockets. And you stop just reacting, you start playing with a real plan.
So you have the plan now. These habits aren't just for titled players or people with tons of free time. They're for literally anyone who wants to improve. And just remember, the goal for the next 30 days isn't to be perfect. The goal is just to make progress. A little bit, every single day. I want you to imagine your game a month from now, playing with more confidence, more clarity, more strength. That whole journey starts with just one step. The only thing left to do is start. So I'll leave you with this question. Which one of these habits are you going to start today?